And stepping down from the virtual floor, passing on the mic to you, Andrea, and then please do the same with Emil, and we'll get back. Hi.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Really happy to see so many fresh faces around here. I guess it would have been even nicer to be in person, but I think it will not take us long to connect. So a few words about myself. Currently, I'm running the pensions business in NN. So NN is the asset manager for the largest pension funds in Romania. This means that we have something like 5 billion euro assets under management and over 2 million clients. So this is the size of our business. Of course, from this perspective, I'm having both the, let's say, B2C and B2B kind of experience. With this number of clients, of course, we range among the largest financial institutions in Romania, but also what we do, we invest in companies. Currently, we invest in listed companies in Romania and in Europe. What we are going to do soon, this means probably next year, we are going to expand our investment universe to non-listed companies. But that most probably will go through funds, so private equity, venture capital funds, so not directly into companies. But I guess this is already an area where we could discuss. Before NN, which is already 5 years, I've been a banker for many, many years, like 18. And from that perspective, I also had experience in financing companies, all range of companies from multinationals to the smallest SMEs and local companies. That is a different angle from which I interacted with entrepreneurial companies, let's say. And more recently, to add to all this, I have, since I have always been very much attracted, let's say, to this universe of entrepreneurial companies. I guess everybody wants to have what they don't, and since I'm very much of a corporate animal, yeah, so I tried to step or to take a view into the other world, and I've done this through several lenses. First of all, I have started to collaborate with some local companies where I act as a board of as a member in their board of advisors. And this is already a very interesting experience. I guess we can also talk about this. And in NN, and here I will let Emil expand more, we already have for a while a department, a group of people that tackle partnerships, and we already have established partnerships with startups. And yeah, we have learned quite some insights into how these two worlds can be joined together to the benefit of both, of course. So I guess these would be the areas that might be of interest from what I happen to know. But any other things that are interesting, I am willing to address.
Of course,
so
of course.
To Emil.
Thanks, Andrea. Great to have you here. Hi, Emil.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you so much for that introduction. I'm delighted to join Spotlight. This is actually my first event of this type, so it's the hype is real, let's say. I'm very glad to be amongst innovators of your stature, and I'm looking forward to learn a bit more about yourselves as well. So to continue the introduction that Andrea made about NN, I'll go on and say that I'm the startup partnership manager. We're actually a team of two. Adriana is my colleague. We work with startups such as Atlas. These were the people that won the previous edition of Spotlight, and Sanopas. These are maybe very well known on the Romanian market, but maybe less so on the European and outside. Basically, what we do, we're just trying to, we don't really come with a set fixed mindset, let's say, and we're really trying to leverage the innovation that people like you bring, and try to see if we're a good fit, if we can work together, if there's something nice that we can co-create, let's say. And to paraphrase Steve Jobs, it doesn't make sense to I'm not going to say hire, but work with intelligent people and tell them what to do. So even though we have a methodology, we have things that we do in a certain way, we're always, first of all, listening, first of all, trying to understand and be receptive to innovative ideas and apply them within NN. I can go on like a little bit more in depth, like how we work and the actual steps that that we're doing, or the actual areas that
that would definitely be a topic. We'll take this one by one.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can address this later on. So, but anyway, Alex, please feel free to stop me. I can talk all day.
Cool. We'll open up the discussion. So the thing is to actually have a conversation between the founders here and all the others that will join across the next 1.5 hours, a bit less than that. And I would go with a thing that popped out even recently. We had such discussion, so it's almost halfway through Spotlight where this Q&A jumps in the program phase of Spotlight, where you have such group sessions and one-on-one meetings and introductions and so on before we get to the competition phase of Spotlight. Word goes that it's very hard to work with big companies, definitely corporations and the enterprise. Tell us a bit about how you do this, and we'll just take the example and extrapolate on based on this, just to have more faith that companies do work with startups. Let's find a bit more about how you do this, and probably even why you do this, because I guess it's important, and it's a qualifier, disqualifier for some companies to actually want to do this and to work with startups, and just state that they want to do this but do nothing. How you go around within NN, Andrea, Emil? You can switch roles as you want. Just we'll just get the topic. Take it as you want. I think that's the elephant in the room. That's the elephant in the room, and let's go with that first, and then we'll jump to other topics as well.
Andrea, if you'd like me, I can start, but if not, you can go ahead. Just let me know.
Yeah, I can make just a brief introduction, maybe like the
sure.
Let's say the overview of how we look at it, and I'm sure that you can cover much better like how it is in very practical terms. So just to give a bit of perspective, partnerships and creating an ecosystem of partnerships has been quite central even at board level in NN. How we got to this point is that basically there are, just to put it in simple terms, we started from several pains. I think this is typically how you start things. Yeah, you have a pain and then you look for a solution. So the pains that we identified, and of course, since you said that this is going to stay with us, I'm going to be open about it.
So people don't gain trust; they lose trust in such circles.
Good. So challenges for, of course, you are a market leader, you are a large player, and so. But of course, there are challenges. Some of the challenges that we were facing. And that led us to building this partnership ecosystem were the following. First of all, finding new clients. Yeah, I guess this is something that we all have, but for us, we have noticed that for a while we were much better in cross-selling within the existing portfolio of clients than going into and getting new clients. So acquiring new clients, especially now that financial products and especially the insurance is something that of course is quite more like a push product than a pull product, yeah. And it became recently more and more relevant to meet the clients or the prospects where they are, meaning first of all digitally more than anything else, and in the most relevant moments of their lives. So getting new clients was one chapter. Another chapter was maintaining the clients that we have. And of course, with insurance products, for instance, they have the opportunity to drop the product, let's say, at different moments, and of course, preventing them to do so was very high on our agenda. And not least, I would say the degree and the speed of innovation. Of course, large corporations are known for many strengths, but it's not necessarily their most important strengths that they innovate fast. And I think that these three things were the main, as I said, pain points that led us to finding new solutions different from what we did before. And if for other challenges like digitalization and other trends that are happening, we had more like standard classic partners. For these areas, we decided to go into this type of partnerships with startups. And how we made it in practice. As Emil also said, there is very much of a wide space how we can how we can innovate together, what we can do to serve those verticals, so to say. Of course, we can of course sell our products in the database of our partners. We can take their products and offer to our database of clients. We can co-create something like a product together and so on. I think that every partnership that we nowadays have has a different flavor. None of it of them is like, you know, on a scheme, fixed scheme. Everything is different, and I think that this is the beauty of it, that we start from the scratch. The only expectation is that it brings basically business development to both parties. So that is what we have in mind, that in the end it has to be mutually beneficial, and that it develops, it has of course a commercial flavor. It's also important what we don't do. Currently we don't do venture capital, we don't invest, yeah, so we don't provide equity. We have a commercial partnership with the startups. And it's also important that we look at companies at such level where they already have a pool of clients, where they already have a tested product. So that would be a bit
some proven track record
where we would start. But at this point, I would leave Emil to give more practical details on how we did what we did so far and what we are looking for in the near future.
Yep. And to all of you, feel free to jump in or at least leave some thoughts in chat, so then we can make a caveat to this, get any feedback, reactions, questions, and then move on to the next topic if that's a great flow that you agree with. If nobody says no, then it's a yes. So Emil, take over, and then we'll do a short pause to get as much as reactions from the founders. Thanks.
All right. Okay. Thanks. So yeah, to follow up on what Andreas said, it's interesting, Alex, that you mentioned, you know, the elephant in the room, because I had a similar metaphor in mind. So my question is, of course, how do you eat an elephant, and can you eat an elephant? You know, related to the excellent question that that was asked. You know, is it difficult to work with corporations? And if corporations are an elephant, how do you approach them? And you know, the answer is you just eat it piece by piece. You just take it one step at a time, one day at a time, and see how it goes, see where it leads. This is something that, you know, it's a kind of a profile that we have, you know, always. Maybe the startups always that we work, they always come to us with approach, very, very cautious approach. You know, are you going to steal our intellectual property? Are you going to make it your own, and so on? So after we passed this first stage, they realized that we're actually nice people, and there's no chance of that happening, no chance of you know, stealing from from any of you guys. So, you know,
okay, so there's this sort of a barrier in collaboration coming from the founder side.
Sorry?
So there is this sort of a barrier blocker, like potential blocker coming from the founder side that they are afraid of.
I wouldn't say, no, I wouldn't say blocking. I would say just more maybe something as a perception thing. They would say like, oh, okay, you know, it's corporations are rife with rules and red tape and things like that. So it's going to make things very difficult with us. Well, not if we start off very, you know, very, very, very easy, and we take things piecemeal. Because I was talking with Alex actually yesterday. We were talking about this, and one of the way that we structure partnerships is that we take things from, like, you know, very, you know, right now, what is it that we can do right now, and what is it that we can do later on if there's a possibility there. And we can go, this is like a continuum, you know, it doesn't really just stop or goes places. And I'm going to get a little bit more practical here and say, we always consider the fact that being a known name on the market would be something that our partners would appreciate, but we were always overwhelmed about how much they would appreciate that, because well, we like to be humble about, you know, our company and so on. Yes, it's a great, yes, we are the leader on, you know, on life and pension and so on, but, you know, we don't really compare with some of the other giants like, I don't know, Vodafone or so on. So we were always, you know, I was always humbled about the fact that our partners really value the exposure that we can give them. So we can start off with immediate actions such as, you know, PR or, you know, communication, just announcing the partnership itself, just showing a bit of visibility, saying that, you know, NN, look, NN is trusting our product, is trusting our, you know, our people and so on. And from that, we can, you know, we can move on with the discussion and say, you know, do you have any recommendation for us? Are there any companies that want to buy your product that are also interested in our product? And the other way around, like, is there a way that the pool of customers, you know, can be shared in a way so that moves on towards something more strategic going on forward? And to, you know, reiterate on what Andrea said on maintaining clients, you know, we have a loyalty program, and because our products are usually very long-term, 20 years, 30 years, and so on, and people change within this period, we're trying to address and, you know, come with a little bit more of a personalized offer and include some of the products or of the solutions that our partners bring into loyalty products, into loyalty programs. And then even further, we can go on and like create sort of a new business together through, you know, social media, ads. We can do campaigns. We can do things like that. And after a while, we're just going to go and maybe, you know, do a worksite marketing thing, selling together, doing things together, and afterwards, I don't know, very long term. Maybe some investment and so on, but that's just, you know, so the message is don't start off with, you know, sky high expectations, like, okay, we're going to work and, you know, you're going to buy 100,000 euros, 1 million euros of worth of our products and so on. That's not going to happen. We're just going to, maybe we will get there, but it's going to be step by step. It's going to be, you know, a continuum, as I've said.
Got it. Getting back to what Andrea said, and this is to both of you, how could then founders spot your pain points so that they are at least aware that they can address some of your needs and objectives of improvement, or any targeting any success that you follow with solutions from outside the company, because it's not just about the businesses that you can co-create your business with. It's also about some internal processes. I had the chance to also speak with Andrea, and there's then a larger pool of companies that can get in and provide services and products to groups such as NN. But how can they spot this? Or you're just going towards them, and can they spot early on the fact that NN is a potential future client for them?
I'll try to be very applied about this part, because it's probably important. So you have to, when assessing whether NN, I mean, as a startup, assessing whether NN is a potential partner for you. First of all, I think that you have to understand, okay, what is NN doing? What are we doing now? For what clients? What type of products? And what are our, let's say, strategy and direction? First of all, yeah, we have over 2 million clients. This is made up of clients that have either life insurance, health insurance, or pension products. Now, what type of clients do we typically have? Our clients, at least by comparison to the general market, typically they are above average in terms of income. They are preoccupied, let's say, very much about their future. They are securing their future in several ways, from a financial point of view, from a health point of view. And typically this client, of course, is preoccupied with security of their living, with the well-being, with eating healthy, and all those habits, let's say. So if you think in terms of opportunities, what kind of ecosystem would fit around NN? Well, it would be most probably about companies that have a product, a service, something, a platform that would address more or less similar clients, or let's say similarly minded clients, yeah, people that are, let's say, preoccupied by this well-being. Then they would maybe have a bit of different maybe access to areas where we have not yet entered, or maybe they have a product that would fit with ours, and then we could offer it to our portfolio of clients, or they could add something to what we already do, to twist a bit our products, to add benefits, to enlarge, enhance. So I would say things like that. But of course, you have to start from what we are already doing. Of course, there are so many nice ideas, so many interesting startups and successful, but of course, not everything is fitting with what we are doing today. So question mark would be, do we have pretty much a similar client in mind? And I have just described. Can we perhaps put together our clients or other products and enhance each other? So this would be something that you can build on.
Yeah,
of course, yeah.
Brings clarity, definitely.
I would only add and build somehow on what Emil said, that indeed working with a corporation, contrary to what maybe a startup would expect, of course, has benefits, but you also have to expect that maybe the speed of reaction, maybe the speed of decisions, implementation, and so on, is sometimes not frustrating, but is lengthier than what you see in startups. So in terms of what to expect from us, yeah, of course, we have, like bodies, committees, whatever. So the lengthy contracts, you need to negotiate contracts. So there are some things that you need to expect in order to be realistic. But in order to think about the chances that you'd have to have such a partnership, you have to understand what NN is doing, and then think, okay, where is the area where we could both benefit each other? What can the startup bring on top of what we are doing, what can we offer to that startup? Of course, it has to work both ways.
Got it. Seeing Adriana. Paul, I saw you raised your hand. Just simply turn on your mics when there's a small pause and actually say it. Would you say it now and then?
Yeah, if it's appropriate. Yeah.
We'll see.
Oh, hi. I'm Paul from Octavic. Grateful to be here and know you guys from NN. So I'm thinking along the lines among us startups. There are maybe several that have B2B products for like industry or something that would be maybe addressable to your portfolio companies or your placements, because you are talking about partnering with startups to go towards this area of your customers or the startups existing customers. But what about this other area, going for partnerships with startups but towards your portfolio companies, or in this way? Are you like
First of all, I don't see you. I'm not sure it's only me or I don't know. I only see a black screen. But then let's be a bit more concrete. So you mean the portfolio companies? You mean the companies that we invest in? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, good. And could you give me like an example? Give me something that, for instance, I have an example that someone that came to us just to check if we are speaking the same thing. Yeah. For instance, we got it's a startup actually, that they are providing, for instance, a solution. So this is different from what I just said. It's not for our customers, it's, as you say, for our portfolio companies, a solution on being informed on all the AGMs, the general shareholders meetings and voting and whatever, electronic, everything and so on. So that is a product that probably we will take, but basically it serves our investment team and managing our portfolio and so on. Okay, that would be an example. I don't know what other specific things you
something like that. So we have a product for factories to basically help them utilize their production capacity at its fullest by various means related to manufacturing operations management. So this is the direction I was thinking about.
Okay, but then you would address it not to NN as in my example, when I would buy as NN the product for the voting, so but you would address it to our portfolio company.
Yes.
Okay, but then going further with this idea, what could NN do here? Maybe probably introduction, setting up a contact, something
basically
like that.
It's basically also a tool for the board representative of NN to have things in check at that company. Like, okay, is the production capacity really used? Do we really need to buy 2 new production lines, or do we have spare capacity already? So it's also added value for top management and board members and so on. So this is the line I was thinking.
So, of course, we will not be able here to go into details of what exactly it is, but I would what I would like to leave behind is that from any angle that you think, okay, we will have to explore into greater details, but if you think there is something that could be addressed in the universe of what we are doing, just don't be shy, approach us. And of course, we look together. Of course, I cannot guarantee anything up front. And there are indeed many angles from which we could look at things. I started with the core commercial approach, which, of course, as all of you guys, I can imagine, you all want clients, you all want your current clients to stay with you and new clients to come to you. So this is valid for us as well. So that's the core of where we would look for partnerships. Anyone that can help us get new clients, keep existing. And of course, also this, don't underestimate the power of the communication PR around such a partnership. I mean, of course, you might say that, of course, the startup is benefiting more, but I'm of the firm conviction that NN or any other large company is also benefiting, because I'm telling it very bluntly, you bring an air of freshness, innovation, a perception that like our clients would have this image like, okay, these guys are innovating, trying to stay in the market, be updated, and yeah. So I think it's very mutually beneficial, basically. But of course, what I'm saying for clients is not the only angle. There could be many other things. For instance, I gave you the example with the voting for the boards, but I have another example with a very fresh startup that approached us from a different perspective. So they heard that, okay, there is a new piece of legislation coming up, and that we are going to need to change some systems in the pension company. And then they came and they said to them, we are a company of, I don't know, 1.5 years old, and we provide this technical solution, and we think that this thing will help you with whatever. So they were informed that these changes are coming in the system, and they thought, of course, we haven't drawn a conclusion yet, but they have approached from that too. Of course, they have a technical product. So, of course, anything could work, provided that, of course, it solves.
The pain point. Yeah. So, Emil, can I approach you in the following days, Emil?
Sure. This is, of course, Paul, definitely. And this is a prime example of how things are happening. Look, because I went over the brief of your company, and I used to work in manufacturing before. I used to deal with inventory, and for me, it was interesting, and I said, I don't really see how, right now, how we can go with it together. But the way that you asked the question, you said like, hey, you can check the how much of their production is being utilized for your company that you have investment in, and I thought, wow, amazing, I haven't thought of that. And I said, like, look at this is the prime example of this happening. Like, Andrea said, this is an era of fresh innovation, and as you saw from her answer, she didn't say no.
Yeah, actually, so I'm cheating. We have similar arrangements with 2 other investment firms, so I was thinking maybe it's a fit here too. So,
all right.
Problem discovery now.
Yeah, let's grab a coffee sometime and chat.
That's good. That's great.
Thank you.
But it's a good flag, actually. Another thing that popped out into our discussion yesterday, Emil, the fact that you do have a process internally, and you do have actually people that are their job is to actually figure out how can they work with early stage companies. Could you tell us a bit more about the setup that you have within the company? As another spot and a good flag that's for the founders, not just for NN, but if we are to take this example and to look on these triggers into other companies, probably they should have more or less similar ingredients. But give us your example, if it's okay.
Well, you're looking at those people, so it's myself and Adriana to do that. Yeah, and we're well, a lot of companies say, okay, we're very data driven and so on, and I like to think that we are as well, because we start from certain insights, and it's always it's always about the customer. Like it's the partnership. It's not about us. It's not about you. It's always about the customer that we can serve. And these customers, they don't exist in a vacuum. We found that it's a big overlap. Most of our market is very similar with the market of the partners that we have. Like I said, it's a data driven, and what do I mean by that? We start off with some insights. We test them in a small community of 30 people that are very excited about NN, about the company, and they're very excited of telling us, if this is going to work, does this apply to me, and so on. And we take those insights and we actually either we go and just go ahead and pilot them, or we can go ahead and test them on a larger scale with a qualitative survey, with a quantitative survey, and then we actually validate those concerns, and we can actually go bigger scale or so on. So either one or the other, just pilot or bigger scale. And to make the connection with Andrea, we actually, everything that we I know all the findings that we have throughout these processes, we just present them on a periodic basis to our council, let's say. And Andrea is one of our big corporate sponsors that say, okay, that's a good idea, or no, that's a bad idea, and would like to challenge that and would like to see a bit more about that. I'm not sure if I went a little bit over the rails here with the answer. Does that answer your question?
Just mapping some of the ingredients. That pretty much covers it. We don't intend to actually squeeze the juice out of any topic in particular, but just go ahead on the trail and get as high as possible. So we have the grassroots as well as the bird's eye view from the discussion with you today. Just want to make sure that if we have any reactions, feedback, questions from other founders related to anything so far, you should jump in. If not, we'll carry up with a couple of other topics that we've also announced in your Slack channel. So what do you say? Anyone wants to jump in the conversation with something from their sides? Looking at Rafal, that's doing something related to health and sports. But now with Paul's observation, I figured out that probably anyone could have something to come in a discussion with you guys.
Yeah, nobody has a monopoly on innovation. It can come from anywhere, so don't be shy.
Mm-hmm. Speaking about Adriana, if you're on call available, and the data driven approach, I found out that you're the data geek of this team, and we were thinking about sharing some insights related to the market, related to some of the trends that have to do with your industry, but probably are broader than this. Are you okay with sharing us a couple of the things that you look up, Adriana?
First of all,
Yeah, please.
Sorry about that. I just wanted a small correction, Alex. I would say data goddess, not geek.
Yeah, goddess. The geek is our bias.
Well, to be honest, I wouldn't say data geek. I would say insights geek. Yeah. I'm part of Spark Lab, our innovation team and partnership team, for some time now. And yes, my biggest task is to actually look at trends and at our market, and then try to come with this insights mapping method, and inform my colleagues about emerging trends, maybe trends that already happened in the Western European part of our continent, and then that we expect to reach our area also in the following years. And based on these insights, we start to actually scout for startups in our area. What we do, speaking about what Emil said about our, let's say, methodology of working with startups, at the beginning of each year, we have a meeting with our board of investors and decide the arena that we are going to scan, let's say, for the next year. And then,
as in geography or industries, or what's the arena all about?
It's the industry, or let's say the big theme that we are going to focus on. Let's say health or healthy lifestyle, or I don't know, education and so on. And after this exercise that is quite heavy from time to time,
learning,
we either do it in the team or together with the board of investors. We are looking at the context analysis. We apply a lot of marketing tools in order to decide which arena is going to be our main focus for the next year. We start to look at trends from that arena, and also at needs that our customer have. and not necessarily only our customer, but let's say the persona that we are targeting with our products and services. And so after we map all these insights, we start to look at customer problems. We have this mindset, and we try to, always cultivate this mindset of customer first and test and learn, which is quite familiar to you guys.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great common ground that I've heard about from discussion with Emil, having the methodology and having this approach within. So yes, we in here we use a lot of sources of information and tools. We do trend scanning. Last year, not so much because it was a pandemic, but before the pandemic, we actually went on the streets and tried to make a lot of photos in order to actually see if we can spot some emerging trends based on what we see on the street and what we see among the common people from the streets of Bucharest. It was quite an interesting study to do, but we also use trend reports. We do some interviews and qualitative testing ourselves, but we also work with research agencies in order to make sure that we have clear problems, clear formulated problems of our customers, and then we try to find solutions of these to these problems in the startup environment. Got it. Any some of the themes that you could share with us as well? Maybe there's of impact to more than one industry, I guess. If I get it right, what theme could mean in your field.
Well, our core customers are customers that are preoccupied with health and live a healthy lifestyle. So this is one of the theme that is our main focus, and also because this is the nature of our products and industry, we are quite preoccupied with customers that are parents and have children, school children or small children. So parenting is one of the other themes that is quite relevant for us. So yeah, whenever we look at the startup landscape, we do focus on these three big themes and try to figure out what's there and what are the newest solutions. But sometimes we do find some other problems that our customers have, or that people from this customer segment have, and we go beyond these things. For instance, this year we've tested some ideas from the personal development side of the healthy lifestyle theme. So it wasn't about sports and nutrition only, but also about personal development, books, subscription to libraries, books, and so on. So a lot of ideas from this area, because it seemed that is an area of interest for our core target.
Got it. Thanks for sharing this with us. Yet again, another moment if you want to jump in with any question, reaction. I was mentioning the Sandro's iSpeak about mobile education, but I do see Gabi from Brio also in the call. Rafal is doing something related to the healthy lifestyle. Otium just got into a meeting, but they'll jump back. They're doing this personal development platform actually, but you'll be meeting them in one-on-ones as well. Thanks for sharing this with us, Adriana. So the insights.
Actually, I get your question, but we're already in a very, very fine collaboration with NN.
Yeah, I know.
So
So it would be awkward for me to ask them if they were.
But do ask something. That you have a new question for them, share it with the group as well.
No,
Yeah.
I can tell about the collaboration we have with NN. Maybe something rings a bell for the rest of the founders. So we have an educational product that's into school testing, and then approached us and told us that for their target that comprises families of school children, they were thinking about a way of adding some value to the product, and we thought about a bundle that we could offer to their clients, and we had the demo, I guess, and I guess the response was very good. So we're into a deeper collaboration with NN, and we're offering our products to some of their clients. And really hope the feedback is good, and we'll keep on doing that.
Great.
So maybe,
thanks, Gabi.
yeah, great.
Let's go a bit ahead and reaching towards this peak that we were mentioning earlier, from which Andreea can also share some insights about what it is that makes companies that were at some point very early stage companies to actually seek for advice and bring in board members. But until then, if you can share some other some other of your tactics that implies this running experiments within the company's portfolio into figuring out if you are going to co-create products, bundle products, and so on and so forth, because this is definitely a common ground with how startups operate, and it's a discussion to have further before we jump into the next one. Probably there's something that Emil can share more, or Emil with Adriana.
Yes, so I can start, and Emil can.
Yeah, please do. Leave your mics on.
So yeah, we do have this open innovation side of our team, which means partnering with startups and running pilots, first of all, in order to test whether their solutions are suitable for the problems of our customers. But on the other side, we and the other internal teams of NN also apply different innovation methodologies for the internal innovation side of our business. So starting with 2016, I think, we started to apply a lot of innovation tools from design thinking and lean startup, and also started to use some parts of the agile methodology in order to reach some products that are better suitable for our customers' problems. So, as you may know, there are some ways of, product management, traditional product management that is done that are done in every corporation. But on the other side, we've started to integrate more innovation methodologies and tools whenever we start to work on a new product, internal product. So we are doing this since 2016. At this moment, more of this part of the internal innovation is ran by our product management team. So our colleagues from product management apply NNN innovation method in order to come up with new products or to actually improve our existing products, insurance products, and so on. And well, on the other side, we work more on this experimentation part that is well related to the open innovation. What we do after we discover these startups that have this potential of offering solutions for our customers' problems, or let's say for our prospects' problems, or personas that are of interest for NN, we usually do a sort of qualitative research at the beginning of our collaboration in order to test their solution and make sure that, let's say for a small sample of our customers, this solution is suitable. And then we start doing a bigger pilot. We select a sample of our customers and we have some clear data and some clear metrics whenever we start a pilot. We usually run it for several months, from 3 months to 6 months, in order to see what are the results. We are interested to see whether the customers use the product from the startup, offered by the startup or not, whether they activate any accounts or not, if they have a good feedback, and so on. So we do follow a lot of metrics before reaching to a conclusion whether we should scale this collaboration or whether we should, I don't know, maybe choose another sample of customers that have a different profile and try to run a pilot on that sample of the customers.
Got it. Quite extensive, but I do appreciate the approach and the framework, scientific method. Thanks for sharing this, Adriana. We'll soon hit the last 30 minutes or so. I'm inviting you to hit any reactions or questions before we are starting to ask Andrea more about this point in the company's life where you need formal advisors, yeah, and build your board of advisors, and when you need this, how you approach them, what's actually the relationship, how often, even fuck-ups of that, because things are not going as planned. So feel free to share as many lessons as possible, because more sooner than later, we hope, at least for the founders and companies that we bump into Spotlight, which are these potentially high growth companies that will be seeing in the next in the near future, acquiring as much market share in their markets, they will get to this point where they'll need such a governance, right? So let's dive into the subject. If you don't want to, oh, I'm seeing somebody in the waiting room. If you don't want to dissect more of the topics that we've discussed so far. So last shout out. Hadi, we cannot take it from where you left, but we'll carry on from here on. Cool.
So shall I?
Yeah, so shall we dive into this larger topic of board of advisors and any lessons whatsoever, so they will be at hand for you when you get there. 1, 2, 3, and a yes. 1, 2, 3, and a yes from me.
Good. So I think there are some messages already.
Okay.
So to give you my perspective on this topic of advisory boards, you have touched on many topics. So I will try to arrange them a bit in a let's say a logical sequence somehow. So first of all, maturity of the company, let's say. I think there is no such thing like you have to reach a certain stage in order to meet this or so. Why? Because first of all, this is not a governance per se topic, because a board of advisors are only what the name says, they are advisors. So if you take it from a legal perspective, they don't have liability as a board of directors would do to a company. So there are two different things. And I would say they serve different purposes. So governance, of course, has to evolve linked to the maturity of the company, and for sure it has to increase when a company goes public. That is for sure. Otherwise, the minimum legal requirements would apply. Advisors don't serve for the governance. They would be there to advise the owner, to advise the management, depending from a situation to another. What I've seen in practice is basically that people, especially owners, but I have seen it initiated by other stakeholders, let's say by new shareholders as well, typically do this in order to bring, like a tool, let's say, to bring a certain set of knowledge for the use of the decision makers in the company. To give very concrete examples, I have seen, let's say, I don't know, I have seen board of advisors for a fintech company very early in their development stage, because these people in the board of advisors would bring things like I don't know, knowledge about the, let's say, the banking system, connections in the universe of clients where this company would like to sell, would bring, I don't know, maybe technical knowledge for the product or things like this. I've seen board of advisors for companies being in that stage where you, let's say, I don't know, maybe get a more established private equity or venture capital, or maybe you get listed on the IRO, let's say, where companies would typically start, and you need to go from the enthusiasm stage of entrepreneurial life to the more structured part, where you maybe need to professionalize your management to get more structure into how you do things. And also I've seen board of advisors used for, I don't know, international expansion. So basically it has to be linked to the objectives of the companies at that specific moment of time. And the advisors basically have to have such a profile that they can benefit the company at that stage. Depending, I don't know, I can give very concrete examples for the boards that I'm currently serving in. It's very much what I'm bringing into those boards. It's very much financial structuring, let's say, perspective. These are companies that one of them, for instance, have just listed bonds on IRO. The other company has just been made a private placement that is going to be listed on IRO, and they are in this tipping point of getting more sophisticated from a financial point of view. And this is, for instance, what I'm bringing. One of the companies are, for instance, that I'm working with is a medical company. This medical company, for instance, has in the board people like another CEO from a different but much more developed medical company. And then, of course, I think there is logical what kind of expertise that guy brings. Then they have a medical professor, which helps them stay abreast of all the developments in the area of, you know, of course, their core business. They have someone on technology in the board, because the medical field is also going a lot into this direction. And they have someone that is an entrepreneur and has expanded their business beyond the borders of Romania. And this company also aims to do so. So this is the type of knowledge that because they have these objectives, this is what they want to extract, and contracts are for 1 year. So of course, next year they might have different needs, different objectives. So of course, they would need to source other knowledge. What is typically the case for entrepreneurial companies, startups, and so on? Of course, you cannot have all the resources. I mean, maybe you hardly have, I know, someone in finance, someone in, I don't know, HR, whatever is important for you, and then you can externalize by having this. For instance, I can also give examples that these people are using us for as an external resource for something that they don't have in-house yet, because they have not reached the scale of having all these functions inside. I will give you two examples. For this medical company that I'm working with, they are trying to establish a corporate benefits program. So basically selling their products as employee benefits to corporates. This is something that it's a dental, in the dental space. This is something really not really established in Romania. So few of the employees in Romania have dental coverages and benefits in their packages. And this is an area where we are trying to open up the market, for corporate subscriptions, let's say, for dental services. Another example is also something that has not been done in Romania. We are helping with that. Of course, it's not worthy for them to have people hired to do so, because you do it one-off and that's it. And that is a program of basically a share option plan for the medical personnel in the company. This is something that the company relies very much upon. And it has been largely discussed what kind of shared interest, shared whatever, let's say, profits or so could keep them with the company in the longer run. And we are designing such a thing for them, which is also a bit of pioneering in Romania. And I could continue with examples, but just to give a concrete flavor of what exactly we do for the companies.
Got it. So if it's almost never too early, what's the stake that these people have in such a relationship with companies, and with their founders, probably with their founding teams? Why do they do this, or what are the founders actually coming at them with in the beginning? How's the approach? So how should a founder, like all of you here in this call, would think of actually poaching this to some of your early advisors in a board? So this is what we are trying to get to. If there's any heuristics that you could share with us, Andreea.
So first of all, this has to be, so this is like I was saying about our products, that our insurance products are more like push products. Well, this board of advisors has to be a pull product. So what it means, it has to be initiated, required, desired by a relevant stakeholder in the company. Normally, or most typically, it's the entrepreneur, the sole entrepreneur more often. But I have also been in the situation that it has been established, I mean, the board of advisors, when the first, let's say, VC or PE or something like that came into the company. I have an experience, for instance, with that. It has been only the entrepreneur running the show up until that point, for instance, and now this VC comes with a significant stake in the company, and they say, guys, we need to make a new growth plan, whatever, as they do when they enter, with a clear strategy, then time to exit, and so on. And we want to have these objectives met, financial, non-financial, in the next 3, 4, 5 years. And for this, we need the firepower, so to say, and knowledge and help that we don't currently have in the company, and is not worth to internalize such skills at that level, being it in terms of seniority or, I don't know, depth of knowledge and so on. And then you source this, and it's not about governance, it's not about legal responsibility, it's not about imposing something, not even imposing something to the company or to the owner or to anyone else or to the management. It's basically advisory. You buy advice on specific topics that relate to your objectives.
Got it. That's super helpful. Thanks. So are there any, could we build also rules of thumb into when we're building this board of advisors, or if it comes in a bundle with our the first institutional investment, of what people to actually consider, regardless the industry. So I guess the financial side won't be out of discussion in probably none of the cases. Anything else besides this?
Well, I would go back to what I just said. I think that the owner, or let's say the management, or the shareholders, if there are several, it has to start there, and it has to start with the objectives that they set for themselves and for the company for the coming, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, whatever years, couple of years. And from there, they need to think, okay, what exactly do we need in order to reach these objectives? I don't know, we need to, I don't know, I'm giving just two examples. We want to sell, we're a B2B company of whatever product, and we need access to the world of, I don't know, financial institutions, to the world of, I don't know, oil and gas companies, or whatever, I don't know what product we have. Maybe we need someone that can take us there, or I don't know, we sell something that needs to be sold to HR managers, directors in Romania, and we need someone that can open all the doors and accelerate our sales process by taking us to all the relevant buyers. Or, I don't know, our core is not technology, we are doing something else, as I said, medical or so, but we are relying very much on technology. Of course, we don't have a huge or a strong IT department, but let's take someone that has a strong IT background, the technical background, that can help us with keeping up with technology in this other field that we are actually working in. Or, I don't know, let's say we need to expand in Romania, or we need to expand beyond the borders of Romania, and we need someone that can take us to partners or show us how to build the network. Or, but okay, I'm just giving examples, but the idea behind being that the profile of the people that you would like to have there has everything to do with the objectives that you want to achieve. Or for instance, to give an example, very relevant, I see it in several companies. For instance, you might need, I don't know, maybe an M&A expert. Yeah, maybe you don't rely entirely on how do you say it, organic growth, but you want to, I don't know, acquire companies, look in this M&A space. And so this is the case of one of the companies that I'm serving now. And there is a colleague of mine in the board that has worked with private equity, venture capital, whatever, for many years now. But now he's doing this advisory in the M&A space. And it's very relevant for this company that I'm talking about, because they want to grow in an accelerated fashion by acquiring companies in a certain space. And you need certain knowledge and, of course, processes and so on in order to do so. But of course, they are not a scale to have their own M&A department or things like that. So yeah, these are just examples. There is an infinity of examples, but basically everything relates to what are your objectives, what you plan to do in the coming years.
I would take Ioana's lines in the chat, and as I can see, she's still with us here, to open up in small steps. But as we're approaching in the last quarter of this call, so this is a clear sign of something went south. Have you seen such situation? If you have,
an interesting
resulted, yeah.
That's an interesting. We should probably also address it.
Please.
Because I see that this is Ioana, yes, right.
And she's here still with us, from Convi. Maybe you can say a bit of a context about Convi to contextualize the situation.
Sure, happy to. So, hi, I'm Ioana. I'm the CEO at Convi, and we are democratizing the alternative investments market by allowing anyone to partially own, for example, luxury watches, fine wine, and many more asset classes in the future. And we have been discussing this advisory topic for quite a while. We have received offers of advisory from multiple people. We have not formalized any advisory contract yet, especially because we are at the pre-seed stage and we've been advised against a board. It doesn't make sense to build a board now when we don't even know how the business will like in 6 months. So we are considering doing it through ESOP, so stock option plan. But really not with everyone. So one point that we've made it clear is that we want our advisors to have skin in the game and they must believe in our idea. So all the advisors that we are considering are invested or going to invest in our company. And we are trying to find out clear goals on what they can help us with, because again, it's our time and the advisor's time.
Yes, I think it makes all the sense in the word what you're saying. For sure, you shouldn't have an advisory board just to tick a box. But it would only make sense if it really helps you in reaching goals, objectives, and so on. In terms of this financial part of it, because I think this I kind of left uncovered. So there are several models, at least that I've seen, but for sure the sky is the limit in designing how people cooperate on this one. I can fully understand your approach on having skin in the game. I think that is more relevant as the company is more early stage, and then it becomes a bit less relevant as objectives change. So
definitely. Definitely, but if we're looking at the series B, C, D stage, these advisors will want to be paid anyway in cash, not necessarily with such a high stock option amount. At this point, if I'm at series B and I need skills that I don't have myself, I'm just hiring a C-level or upper management and give them that 5% that really would get us to grow the business over the next 5 years.
Yeah, no, it's perfectly fine solution. What I can share is that I've seen several models in practice, ranging from I don't know, a combination of for instance, paying for very concrete objectives or the meetings or so, combined with a link, but of course this is really linked to the objective. Let's say that your objective is that you, I don't know, sell part of the company, list it, whatever. Then it's probably the main objective, or around the main objective is the valuation that the company would have at that point that we are making reference to. And for instance, what I've seen in practice, a certain type of whatever, I don't know, bonus or some linked in some way to the valuation that the company will have at that moment. And of course, it's supposed that we all contribute to reaching that point. If we get to that point, everybody is happy and we share things in a certain way linked with that. If we don't reach there, we have been unsuccessful and we don't share anything because we haven't met the objective. So this is one way of looking at it. Okay, so what's your main objective? I don't know. I want to have that scale in the corporate space. I want to have that valuation. I want to that, and then just link. But of course, when the objective is met, link in a kind of formula the reward to meeting the objective. I think this is the most correct part in a way to do so. And then I can fully understand what you're saying. The more young the company is, the more relevant it is that people have that type of skin in the game that you mentioned, because you are in that portion of the life where you make it or break it. It's probably a bit less about certain objectives, but it's really like making it to the next level. So yeah, but I guess there are many models that could work. With more established companies, typically you have a contract for, I don't know, 1 to 3 years, in which time you need to reach certain goals, and then of course everything is derived from there financially.
Yeah, yeah. I think Aline, you.
Yeah. Hello, hello, Andrea. Thank you, Ioana. I have a more specific question. I'm the CEO of RepsMate. RepsMate is a platform that addresses certain limitation of call center managers and helps them to automate some of their procedures. And I would like to ask you if NN has also internal departments of call centers.
Quite a big one, yeah. So in terms of call centers, we have a hybrid solution, which is, yeah, I guess that hybrid is the word of the decade now with the pandemic. So what we have in-house call center, and it's quite sizable. But because there are peaks in our activities for several reasons on all business lines, okay, there is a certain level that is constant, and then there are, I don't know, whether we do campaigns or we have this, I don't know, on an annual basis, for instance, for all these pension clients, we need to submit some information, and then everybody calls. Or for instance, in a month from now, we're going to have a TV campaign, and of course they are going to invade us with, yeah. Anyway, so at different moments for different reasons, we have peaks. And for covering this, of course, you cannot play like this with your FTEs. Then we also have someone externalized, yeah, that we work with. So it's a combination of internal and external, but internal is sizable.
Okay, thank you very much. Then I'm gonna ask Alex if he could arrange a meeting for us, a one-to-one meeting, in order to tell you more about RepsMate and find out if we can work together.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Aline. Sorry, I missed the part. It cut me off the call, but I am happy to see Aline with.
You just got a request. Hopefully you got that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great. I'm happy to have back at this moment. Leaving you to carry the discussion because I've missed the last 3 minutes or so.
Alex, I was asking if you could organize a one-to-one meeting.
Yeah, that's checked.
Yeah? Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks. We're minutes away from the time we've reserved in all your calendars, so make sure you address the questions that you had or speak out the reactions that you had, any follow-up thoughts that you might have before we say thanks and goodbye to Andrea, Emil, and Adriana. And some of you, will meet them into the one-on-one sessions. Some of you will actually meet them tomorrow because they are one of the people that have one-on-ones, are available for one-on-ones tomorrow. So we'll see how the whole schedule works and how can we prioritize and whom. Yep.
Andrea, I would like to challenge one more point.
Sure,
that you made. So you mentioned that one of the companies you work with was advised by their investor to build a board right after their first investment round. Of course, I don't have much context of how late stage they are, but just speaking from my experience, because we're raising pre-revenue, from what I've heard, it's a red flag for the investor to push in terms of operation that deep. So yeah, just be careful what terms the investors ask you to, and if this is a conditional. I mean, of course, our investors did suggest potential advisors, but they never pushed towards you have to go with that person or build a board, etc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, actually, the example that I'm giving without names, it's actually public, so you can easily research what company I'm meaning, what is the VC that entered the company, and they also made a public announcement about the advisory board, which I happen to be a part of. So this is all in terms of the stage. Yeah, this is an established company, 15 years old. Second player in its industry, 20 million sales euro.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were just okay. So they took the owner took it to this level. The only financing was coming so far from the entrepreneur and bank debt. So this is how they raised it for 15 years. First investment after this many years. 25% of the company going to a VC. Yeah, but this is, I would say, quite a mature level of a company. And indeed, this VC was the one saying that, okay, you know, I want to, because what was the situation? And again, it has to stay here, but when they invested for the many benefits and merits of the company, but this thing of having that much of a key single person running the whole show, which show got bigger in the meantime, was something that they were not that comfortable, let's say, with. And they wanted to have professional management established, like C-level of the company, professional CFO, sales, whatever, so operations. Mm-hmm. So just to you know, to put more order, shape, and yeah, into, of course, growth is what they are looking for, but while doing so, you also need some structure for this level. Anyway, so it was the VC that has suggested that, and I think this is a very brave entrepreneur that is, yeah, basically listening not on a bi-monthly basis to us. We might be annoying from time to time because, of course, it's difficult when for 15 years you have run the show alone and then a bunch of guys come and give their opinions around the table. You are not forced to follow, but I think that more and more he sees the value, and we do have a very good relationship.
I think it's a fair requirement. Just I think it depends also on the current stage, and if you see, I know from my experience, I expect all of my investors to introduce me to others, for example. So there has to be something extra that I really see they can value. And in your scenario, I totally understand, because you need external opinions, and 15 years on your own, you can only grow a business that much more, like VC backed, only with more people that are taking the decision.
And there are alternative models. I mean, there might be VCs that put their own people in your board, and or there are different models. And I think it's very, very interesting space to explore. But I think, yeah, these private equity entities, okay, including VCs, let's say in the general term, they more and more don't hire themselves, even so many people in the team, but take this type of advisors that are adjustable to the need of each of their portfolio company and assemble them as they see fit in each case, and quite short term, because of course this is not 2-3 years, this is 1 year thing. Okay, guys, for the next 12 months, we need to do this. What type of people do we need around this entrepreneur or the team that he has in order to take us there? Okay, we need in the next 12 months, we need to sell to all the companies of this sort. We need to take someone that knows Hungary market, or we need to, I don't know, something very specific. Okay, who are the guys that can help us with this? Pragmatic, very pragmatic approach, actually. And what I see, I will finish here, but what I see more and more, I also see companies communicating about this. I think that the most recent that I've seen is this Roca guys. Yeah, Roca, basically they're a fund. And they have just communicated their board of advisors. But I see more companies doing this, so communicating these are the people for the next year because we want to do this. So they use it also as a PR tool. I mean, the communication part, not taking the board just for the PR, but I mean, they also see the PR opportunity into this, associating themselves with some relevant names that are in their field. It's also a bit of an endorsement, you know, that that guy worked for that company and then that guy can open doors for whatever is needed to be there. So,
yeah, actually, Roca has also advised me on the goal-based structure. So yeah, there's definitely different approaches.
For sure.
Thanks for getting into discussion. Could we, I mean, we're 5:30 already, but if you have a couple moments to sum up with some final thoughts and include also some of the lessons learned that you can share within the industry and with respect to early stage startups that could impact any of us here in the call, as we say thank you and goodbye for any one of you and all and anyone. Andrea, Adriana, Emil would be very appreciative of this. Whoever wants to take first, yeah.
Me personally, I would leave a bit the floor to everybody else. I already feel that I spoke too much, and I would like to listen from them how they see it from the other side. How is life at that stage of the company? What needs what needs do they have? What is useful for them? What kind of resources they would need to access? So yeah, what are their priorities at this point in time? If they would like to share for us, it's very insightful.
Seeing Sandro taking over.
Yeah, no, it was lovely to hear. I come from a different context. I'm Sandro from Colombia, building from Lithuania. We're building an interactive TikTok for language learning. I Speak Up, and most of my revenue in Colombia comes from this kind of partnerships. Which, to be honest, just listening to you, I was in listening only mode, and I find a lot of what you share interesting. And well, I don't know, but if this is worth mentioning for everybody, but where I come from, this is kind of the stuff of dreams. You know, just listening it, I know that there are, you know, there's some natural friction on working with large corporations, but yeah, no, I think that probably the last thing that you know stuck to my mind definitely was the role of advisors. I mean, sometimes it's not even that official. I mean, sometimes you allow people to get into your, you know, your non-official board without you knowing, and you know, it's just they start dragging time. And I love Joanna, your, you know, just cut to the chase thing. Is like, if you are not having a fiduciary interest here, just, you know, get out. So I think that was very, I mean, a very, as you all know, I'm kind of the little kid on the raising money part here, which was very interesting to hear from you as well. I enjoyed the session very much.
Thanks, Sandro. Feel free to pass on the mic to whomever you see on your screen. It's a practice that we do throughout any sessions within How to Web. So just pick somebody.
I come from the BPO industry, and I was a trainer for quite a while. So we call it a popcorn, right? So I popcorn, and then the next one would have to talk.
Cool,
Sorry, guys,
yeah.
but I popcorn to Irina.
Great.
Hello, so I'm Irina. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Vaunt. Vaunt is a SaaS solution dedicated to residential real estate developers and real estate agencies that help them streamline the sales and management process. And this discussion has been very interesting from a point of view of board of advisors and such, because we were looking we have been bootstrapped so far. We have a product, we have clients, and now we're looking into raising our first round in order to accelerate our sales and expansion. So from this kind of discussion and point of view, it was very interesting to hear the board advising talk, because we were looking into it. We somehow got someone on our team, but also to fill a position that we're looking to, which is accelerating the expansion of sales internationally. But in order to do that, you need to have a lot of, let's say, knowledge and expertise in that domain. So this is what it gave me some thought, and also what Ioana said there was very interesting. Her approach towards the founders. And now I need to pop the mic, right? And I see Alin from Repstate, so I'll.
Yeah, before you have one-on-one meeting, let's hear out from you, Alin, at the cost of that. Great.
So yeah, I would say I would start with that I know Diana, both of them actually. I think you're speaking about them, Andrea, no? About
that's yeah, the mics. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not sure whom exactly.
Diana, both Dianas from.
I'm not sure.
You were speaking earlier about EasyDoc.
I mean what the company? Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you mean the companies that I'm currently working, because there are two things. One set of companies is the partnerships that we have in NN, and that's one bunch of companies. And then where I'm personally serving in the boards, those are two other companies that are, one is in IT and the other one is in dental services. So okay, just not to mix the two, because I wear several hats, so to say.
Okay. Yeah, we have actually we started with board of advisors, and to be honest, they help us a lot. I mean, without them, we wouldn't be where we are today. So I really appreciate them, and and I would recommend anyone to try to do the same. I'm really emphasizing with this idea, and yeah, I think it was really good.
We lost you on the sound, Alin.
Working.
We do some lip reading, but not too proficient. Yeah.
You can hear me now.
Take again from the last 30 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, my phone was ringing. That's why. Sorry.
No worries.
I was saying that I think it's really helpful for us to understand how NN as a corporation is working with startups, because from my experience, even if corporations are trying to work out with startups, is not that easy for them. And I think NN probably found a solution in this type of partnership, but hopefully we're gonna see. And yeah, I'm gonna pass the mic back to Sandro, because he raised his hand.
Yeah, thanks. Just that a question jumped in, top of my mind. Years ago, I used to have like this mentor who was a VP of a large 500 companies in the United States, and he gave me this advice. He said, like, even if you have an advisor that has some sort of investment, right? That even if you pay him or her a lot of money, if that advisor does not have a 1% brokerage commission on every business that brings to the board, just fire them, because it's just that they will be incredibly busy with other things, and at the point that you need them to like bring huge businesses and just work for you on that part? I mean, this was an advice from someone. Again, this is not something that I'm saying that I believe, but I wanted to put it out so maybe you can share your thoughts about it. This is a very old-fashioned BP, no? I don't know if this is still valid or you will consider it somehow appropriate.
Thanks for bringing that up. So I won't keep you in this noise. I'll pass on to either Popcorning anyone else that wants to jump off the call, and then stay a bit for Andrea to actually give her 2 cents on what you said, Sandro, or do the reverse as you want, Andrea.
No, I can stay a bit longer. So let's rather hear the other opinions in the.
Cool. So Aline, you actually need to popcorn somebody else. You're not getting away with that.
Okay, I would choose Oleg.
Yeah, so I see Oleg and Florin, if they're still around.
Or Florin, yeah.
Yeah. If not, we can go back to the question at hand.
Yeah, probably they are not in the meeting, but I would continue what Sandro started to say. I believe is really important.
Just got to be distracted. I'm sorry. So, may I ask to take me back to the track?
The popcorning drill was if you want to leave something on the board with what we've discussed so far, anything that caught your attention, anything that would be also a lesson and a learning point for Andrea, Emil, Adriana out of this session. So they're also here to learn from you, find things from you. So if you want to add to what all the others already said or anything new, just feel free to do that.
Just a few words that there are a lot of insights for me, so I had to think about it a bit and process a bit, because a lot of things correlate with my past experience when I was working inside enterprise teams and with enterprises and with startup that partners with enterprise. So. Thank you very much. So just thank you. So I have to think a bit and may I ask questions or suggestions a bit later when I think about it a bit.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Let's go back then to Sandro, to Sandro's question actually, and to any thoughts that come from Andrea regarding to this. Thanks and sorry for keeping you a bit longer than 5:30. We only stay here if you can take this couple more minutes. And yeah, thanks again. Passing on the mic back to you.
So I mean, in this area of advisors, I wouldn't necessarily opine, let's say, into greater details than I already did. I am sure that, I mean, I think that there is a clear, or for me, this is a clear guideline. Well, there are 2 topics here, or maybe several. When to bring such a, being it a board or I don't know, one advisor, several advisors, okay? When is useful, how to structure this, and then we got into this payment part of it. But to me, I wouldn't complicate it any further than the following idea. Basically, there is an owner, there are shareholders in that business. Those shareholders have the interest to grow the company, to reach certain objectives, and so on. And advisors can be this is not a must, yeah, can be a tool that you outsource and you buy in any shape or form and remuneration that fits the company stage, objectives, and so on. I wouldn't make any harsher rules on this, because this is really unregulated territory. This is not about let's say not even about governance. Nothing regulates this space. This is a tool that you can buy for whatever price you think it's worth, and you just design the objectives that you want to achieve. I think it's quite free format. What I have shared is that basically more and more companies, from my experience, I at least find it useful, and it can also build to the later development stages of the companies, where certain governance bodies could be even imposed, for instance, when you go public, but also in other different moments of the life of the company, when different stakeholders might impose things. But this is earlier than having governance imposed by regulators to you. This is just getting advice, diversifying the sources or the minds or the brains that you use for your business. In my mind, this is as simple as that.
Okay, so there's a new approach around, if that's useful for you, Sandro, and for anyone else. Not keeping you more than this. Florin, you wanted to add something related to anything that you found as useful, or as bringing you a new perspective, also to increase the chance that Andrea, Adriana, and Emil learn from your side and from your challenges and so on, before we say goodbye?
Yeah, so from my personal perspective, having founded a startup before, we have benefited greatly from a board of advisors that was, first of all, willing to help. So I would say that more important than anything else is their willingness to help, and also their willingness to be brutally honest about your startup and about your let's say problems that need to be addressed as quickly as possible. So that's very important. Second of all, I think if you Google it, you'll find all the information that you need about, I don't know, what equity to give to the advisors at what stage and so on. So that is something that you can easily find online. Plenty of literature about that, easily available to anybody. To us at this point, what was most important is to understand, because a lot of us, have very little information about how pension funds work. What they invest in. Not necessarily whether or not they're open to working with startups, because we all assume that they are, otherwise they wouldn't be here, right? The one thing that was very important to me was to learn more about, some of the niches, some of the pain points, some of the opportunities for us, that were sort of like, described and offered for the participant startups. Not necessarily for us as an energy analytics startup, but I'm sure that for many others, for those in the fintech space and in edtech space as well, I think a lot of opportunities have been offered today. So thank you.
Thanks for sharing that, Florin. And thanks again, Andrea, Adriana, Emil. This is the first touch. You'll be having one-on-one meetings with some of the founders. Some other potential meetings popped out from this session that we haven't been thinking of. So thanks for pointing that out. And we'll see us soon, because you're part of Spotlight as well around the founders. Thanks for taking the time to have the discussion, the session today. And if there's any thoughts you want to leave us with, the recording is also available, so it will be revised in the recordings as well, and for us still in call.
From me only to finish off. So for me, it's always a real pleasure, a delight actually to speak with people that are engaged on this path of starting up companies, being innovative, and so on. Always willing to help in any form or shape that I can be useful.
Thanks.
All right. Yeah, thanks everyone for staying also so late. I really hope you got something out of it, and you know, we're open. Feel free to reach out, and yeah, let's see where this takes us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Emil. Thanks, Adriana. Bye. Take care, and see you all soon. We'll get back in the Slack workspace where also at least Emil. Hi, Adriana. Again, if you, I didn't see you earlier.
No. It's okay. I think that Emil said everything that it is to be said. I just wanted to wave you goodbye.
Yep. Cool. Thanks. Enjoy the evening. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.